I look like a rat. Do you agree?
Sure.
So I just did music today. Very nice opportunity. It took a while. It's only today was my 14th day subbing. I guess that's not a while. It feels like a while. Well, those were 14 days of actually subbing. There wasn't that wasn't in count or including. I just mixed include. Oh my god. I'm not restarting this. Okay. So I did music. 14th day.
Wait, what'd you say?
Took a while. I'm mixing up words. I'm
Oh.
combining them like normal. Like normal me speaking. Had fifth graders, had fourth graders, had second graders, had first graders, and then had kindergarten. Had all of those people. Yes. And three different lessons. Fifth and fourth were combined. Third and second were combined. And then first and kindergarten all had the same lessons. So, yeah, very interesting to teach those people music as my undergrad was all about teaching middle school band to high school public normal booty. I'm trying not to cuss. Wow, this is difficult. Band stuff. General music, we only had one class for undergrad. It's called general classroom general, something like that. And that only taught us really young kids. It was more focused towards that. So teaching fifth graders and fourth graders was different. Your computer's dying. I feel like that's a universal problem for all teachers. If your computer is not plugged in while you're doing stuff,
This
it'll
is the
die.
second time today I've had to plug it in. If that tells you how busy I've been.
No, your computer dies in seconds.
Actually, it's been several hours, but whatever.
So, anyways, we had xylophones out for fifth and fourth graders, and then some Valentine stuff for third and second, and then some movement Dalcro stuff for first and K. You cannot overestimate what a fifth grader and a fourth grader can do. I was like, you know what? We're learning about ostinatos. They can at least do two. They barely did the first ostinato when I read the subplans. They were like, if you can make it, get to the second one if you can. Barely got through the first one. We were scatting on jazz music, and then with the scat music, you were we were doing ostinatos on our xylophones. Then we switched, so that was fun. Both classes were really nice, but of course my second class was a lot easier since that was the lesson the second time, and I kind of knew what I was doing. Again, the problem with subbing is you're walking in and you have to understand this lesson plan, what the material does to lead into the content, what kind of learning it's doing for the kids, how are you going to not program, how are you going to explain this in a way that all of them understand, how are you going to keep their attention, how are you going to manage them, and they're testing you, they're seeing what pushes your buttons. It definitely worked, being on them, being strict like I talked about earlier. Even though they're fifth graders, fourth graders, or even younger, first and K, they need that those rigid expectations.
Rigid.
Rigid,
Rigid?
rigid. I told him, I said, if you talk over me, you're getting written up. If you do it again, I send you out of the class because people want to actually do things. And a lot of them looked at each other and were like, whoa, yeah,
What? People want to learn in
that makes
class?
sense. We are in class. And actually doing it, they they understand that that's a good thing. And they're like, oh, that makes sense. We'll get through things faster. But when it happens, they're like, what? What? You wrote that kid down. I was like, that's what I said. Does that not compute? Does it go phew, and then out the other ear? When it actually happens, And the hands get thrown up. They're like, what? Why? What did I just say? I said, my name's Mr. Vi. I got a couple rules. Don't talk over me. Only talk when you're allowed. And they're like, yeah, but I was only. Nope, that's it. Rigid. And then suddenly, they're just, like I said earlier in previous episodes, they are appreciative from that. Maybe not the kid in trouble, but I talk to them afterwards. I like to go over what they could have done to kind of prevent that or ease the impact. Like, for example, next time, let's control our bodies a little more. I want you to focus just on you, not talking to your friend, not moving around, not jumping around, just focusing on you and what is in front of you, controlling your energy. And my friend, student kid was like, that sounds kind of good. However, so anyways, fifth and fourth, great. Besides my teaching, it was the first couple classes, especially the first class. I struggled in trying to figure a way to explain this content easily in digestible chunks. It was split between two schools as well. So I started from the first school. And I had a cart, so I was bringing all my cart, had all my xylophones, like, and then and I had to go outside too. I was going up ramps through really tight doors because in the middle it still had the metal thing, so it's not a double door. It's door, and metal thing, and I'm like, trying to get through. Let's see. But yeah, it's split between two schools. Had three classes in the first one, three classes in the second one. That's also kind of annoying because your lunch is taken because you have to set up twice. You set up in the morning for the first three classes, then you set up another time, and you have to drive. Annoying. However, I get a class the second school, and they come to me, and I just grab them. I grab, and I just take all 28 kids. I had a lot of kids. I didn't think I'd be teaching so many kids. I had 20 plus, no, 25 plus each time, and I only had maybe 8 xylophones. So we had to keep switching over and over again. It's unfortunate, definitely not ideal, because then I have to keep teaching the thing every time in small successions, and then having the other kids be in their fake xylophones. For whatever reason, they started fighting. They're like, my fake xylophone's better, and it's got horns. And the other guy was like, but mine is real. It's better. I don't know. Fifth graders are weird.
They're wacky.
They are wacky. They can't handle scat. Well, here's another thing about music. If you're into it, they will most likely be also into it. I did some examples of just singing scat, and they were like, "Oh, well, if you like it and you're cool, then I probably can like it." And the song that we learned was pretty cringy for their age, I will say. Probably better suited for younger and not just fifth. Fourth kind of got it, but fifth was like, "We're old. We don't like this stuff." But as they got into it, as it got harder too, then they started appreciating, oh, this is like something we should focus on. Anyways, anyways, continuing on. Let's see. I talked about overestimating because they didn't get that far, so always plan for more. It's always a good thing. This is the very first time I have ever sent anyone to the office. Don't say names. I'm not gonna say what they did, but he was giving me an attitude, and he did something. And I was like, "You're not gonna talk over me after doing that. I'm just gonna send you to the office." And again, the kids were like, "He did it! He sent someone to the office. I cannot. I can. Whoa!" But it was a great opportunity because I had to check the office. I had to check if he actually went. I said, you were being respectful. Your name is blank. Great. Hi, blank. come over here. I need you to be the teacher for 30 seconds. I need you to be my tech person, not the teacher, because they hate being teachers. I'll be a tech person. Some kids are like, what's a tech person? Technology. Oh, okay. And then they came over to the smart board. Luckily, this sub set me up for success. I will
The
say.
teacher.
Oh, sorry.
You're the sub.
I am the sub. Well, good job, me. The teachers set me up for success. Definitely. There are some things I didn't really know, but that's because I'm a sub, and there will always be something that I can't go into the teacher's mind. So there will be some wiggle room. Can't exactly know what they wanted, especially since I don't know what the kids where they're at. But I had my tech person. He came up. All he had to do was press the headphones icon, and it played basically an echo, and then it would allow the kids to say it, and then the next one would do a sing along, and then the other one did the song with the teacher. Like, she had this all recorded, and it was great. And I told him, if you do not listen to my tech person, he will report to me afterwards, and you will be written up. And I went to the office and I checked on him. I was like, "Hey, bud, hey," and I walked back, and they were halfway through the song, and I didn't teach a single thing, and they were much better suited. Did I say this was my first graders? Yes, they were much more far along than my kindergartners. However, they were kindergarten. I understand. Wait, were they kindergarten? Yes, they were. My first graders did much better. The one with the tech person. But maybe that was because they were first graders. Oh, crap. No, I think it still worked. I think me talking kind of messed it up for the kindergartners because that was my first time with that lesson. Let's see. Oh, and they were like, they were like, "Hey, is he still in the office?" Everyone asked that, and I said, "Yeah, he is. He's being sent home." And they're like, "It's just like, yeah, his parents know." However, he went to the office by himself, and I told everyone. I said, "You know, I liked him like this much." I like pointed pretty much to my chest. Oh,
Piggies are making noises.
piggies are making noises. And I said, I like him a little more. You know, he may have made me mad. I'm the adult in the room and he made me mad, but he did what he was supposed to. Went to the office. And they were like, oh, he respects bad kids. I'm like, yeah, you're, you're not just dirt when you become a bad kid. I might treat you like dirt maybe for a sec because you're still talking over me, but you're good dirt. You're like soil for
Ooh,
flower.
can I for a second?
Yeah,
I gotta
I
switch
think
gears today.
yeah, I think as you can tell, I'm getting a lot better at precise speaking. There's a lot to talk about anything in the world, ever. But I'm getting a lot better at bringing that into my brain and bringing it out into precise thinking and precise talking into digestible chunks. And something that has been difficult for me in the past.
You know what you're not good at?
What?
When I was like, hey, can I say something? And then you just kept going.
Oh my gosh, when kids raise their hands,
No!
I
You just did it to
completely
me!
ignore them. When they raise their hands, I look at them, forget. Like it went through my eyeballs and out my ears. I just forget that they're raising their hands. And it could be for 15 minutes. And I'm like, oh, what's your question? I have to use the restroom. There's like a puddle underneath
At
that.
least they like wait.
They
Mine is
really
like,
did.
Miss Carol! Miss Carol! Miss Carol! And
Oh,
I'm like, oh my god, shut up.
that's also because if they're whining, it's the same thing. You're talking over
God.
me.
Also, can I say what I was gonna say now?
Yes, you may say what you want to say.
Okay, thank you.
And then after that, I'm going to cut this.
So, that's fine. But like how you were saying how kids talk over you and how it's annoying.
It's very
My
annoying.
big pet peeve is when you have a student who is obviously upset with you.
Oh, wait, by the way, Emily Carroll.
Hi.
Okay.
You have a student who's obviously upset with you, and in my one class I have an aide because I have several students who are in need of another person in the room.
Mm.
And she just helps me with everybody, which is fabulous. It's
Mhm.
great. Today we took a trip over to the band room and we watched a presentation from our fundraiser guy, and he's great. He's awesome. Um, and we had the kids just file into the rows
Mhm.
based off of their spots on the risers. Well, this group of boys ended up all together, and they're not anywhere near each other on the risers.
Always the boys.
So there. I'm gonna cover your lanyard over there with my head.
That's good.
Yeah. So they're sitting there, and my aide goes over to them, and she's not my aide, she's my para. She goes over there and she's talking to them, and she's like, "Hey, this isn't what you were supposed to do when you walked in." And they immediately started fighting back with her, and they were very rude to her.
Mhm.
And like they were like throwing their hands up and like, "Bro," and I didn't even do that, and like they're getting in her face, and I got mad because number one, she's an adult, you don't speak to her that way, and number two, no, you really don't speak to her that way. And so she was very calm about it, and she was like, "I don't care what you think, I know what I saw." And by the time she walked away, they were still going at it, making faces at her, and they didn't see the fact I was also standing right there. And I got down right between the two of them that were causing all the fuss, and I said, "If I ever, in my like most disappointed yet angry, like soft voice,
Mhm.
if I ever hear either of you talk to her that way again, it will be write-ups for days.
For the rest of your life.
It will be write-ups for days, and you will not like it.
Yeah.
Have I made myself clear?" And they were like, "Yeah." I was like, "Good. So I don't want to hear any more bros or any cussing. I don't want to hear it anymore."
They were cussing at her?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, that's office.
I know.
Wow.
It's still fun.
I
By the way, my shirt that I'm wearing is not the school I teach at, so don't even think about it.
yeah, if I don't think anyone would have mentioned that.
I mean, they can't even see like the whole thing, but
If
they figure that out, it's where I went to high school. It's not where I teach.
I think when you mention it, they're most likely to try.
Good luck.
Okay.
I mean, unless they know me personally, like good luck.
It's I don't know what I'd do in that situation if a kid got in my face.
It's happened to me a few times. It's honestly terrifying because I am a small person, and a lot of my students are physically violent, and I
Mm.
worry that they will become physically violent with me, and I'm not very big.
We should save this for
Next time,
a weekend discussion. Just
yeah,
an extra episode talking
should.
about if
Classroom worries and struggles.
that and what do you do worst case scenario? Even though teachers will say this will only happen once or twice. So when it happens, it'll just
Don't believe that. It's a
yeah.
lie.
Yeah, it could happen many
The
times.
weirdest things have happened to me. It's only year one.
So, oh, yeah, she's an actual teacher. So she's better than me.
Not true.
Her precise speaking and probably precise thinking is much better than me.
I would say that I'm a slower thinker.
I'm a fast thinker. Okay, great. Well, I think that's the end of the episode.